Hello, hello. Are we live? Are we live? Yes. Awesome. Hey, Edgar.
I put myself on mute. Hey, how are you, Alexandra? All
Am I
right.
hearing echo? Oh, it's myself. Okay,
There you go.
got it. All right. So I guess a lot of people are just still in the CLS. But I guess I can just get started with the followers that we have. Okay. So I remember last time I read Vegeta. Then we have Bondwitch, SRK. Also, we reached 500 followers, which is cool. Hey, Whitney. Shyam apparently created a Twitch account, so that's awesome. Shravan, Marco Trova, and Heno Kiel 2007. All right, so those are all our followers. And as I said, we reached 504. So that's awesome. I think a lot of them came from Alba Rivas. I don't know if you know Alba, but maybe I can show here. Yeah, if you go here in the suggested streamers, you can see Alba. She streams a lot about Salesforce in Spanish because she's in Spain. So you can go follow her. She streams every week, and she's awesome. So she gave us a shout out, so we got a bunch of followers from her. So I'm doing the same thing now. Thank you, Alba. All right. We're getting more people from LinkedIn. Hello, Vasu. All right. So, Edgar, what's up?
Not much, not much. Again, a little bit noisy here at my home, but I think I'm good so far. Yeah, so just getting out from the session, so pretty interesting and a lot of things going on, so that's good. Yeah, pretty happy to be here. Thank you so much, Alex, for inviting me. Again, I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do or how it's gonna go, but yeah, I'll do my best to see how this code builder works. And yeah, definitely, there's a lot of feedback that I've been heard, and also feedback from myself. So yeah, I'm pretty happy and excited to just jump in it.
All right. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself for the people that don't know you?
Yeah, so okay, so my name is Alexandra Moran. I've been doing MuleSoft for I'll say almost 5 years now. And prior to that, I was a Salesforce developer. I have around like 11, 12 years of experience in Salesforce plus MuleSoft, right? And then I became a MuleSoft ambassador also, and I like to share a lot of content. Well, not like a lot, but as much I can. And I like to also reshare a lot of things that I see from the community, people that is starting writing their own blogs. I like to share that. I currently work for Cisco Meraki, so I joined them like a month ago. So yeah, it's been pretty nice. I've been doing there some MuleSoft also, and I'll do some Salesforce as well. So yeah, so it's pretty much that.
Great. All right. So, you can get started if you want then.
All right. So yeah. So today, actually, let me share my screen. I guess we are going to try to do some DataWeave libraries. So let me see. Um, Share screen. All right. Let me know if you can see my screen. Okay. All right.
Nice
And what I'm
Porsche.
gonna yeah, I love this wallpaper. So I put it in Twitter though. So you look into my profile, you probably will see that picture too.
Is that your
Um,
car?
I wish. Definitely, I wish one of those. But yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get any. Alrighty. So okay. So basically we have I created this new instance. It's a pretty empty one. I just created a few minutes ago, and what I'm gonna do is we have this other tutorial here, which is basically mock data using DataWeave Library. So what we are going to try to do is import the library into Code Builder and see, following the steps and trying to expose an endpoint and then looking into the response from Cloud Hub. So actually what we're going to do is um, creating our project or Open Code Builder, trying to import the DataWeave library, and then deploy our application in Cloud Hub. So we'll try to hit the endpoint and see what it brings from it. And I wanted to, I haven't explored much libraries, so I know they are awesome and everything, but I haven't tried anything by myself. So I was wondering at some point trying to make my own and use that for a Salesforce sample, right? So because I would like to make some kind of uh, Salesforce thing out of this. Like for example, let's create an account using the DataWeave library and just see the account in Salesforce. So let's try that, right? Um, just full disclosure, I haven't tried much Code Builder much, so I don't know exactly if I'm gonna fail or not. But yeah, let's see how that goes. All right. So first of all, here I'm gonna open the Code Builder actually. So let's go into Anypoint. I need to go through this and accept, get the access, and launch the IDE. I notice it takes some time to load it, and sometimes what I do is I'm starting just like moving into tabs, and I forget that I opened the IDE. So yeah, when I back, it's probably I already closed the tab, or I don't know. So I sometimes lose the tab. So, but let's see how long it takes. All right, and it says yeah, so the first thing that we're gonna do is like we're gonna create a new application here. So yeah, develop an integration, and yeah, we can go from there. But let's see.
While that
I saw.
happens, I can
Oh yeah.
talk about the GitHub repo. So if you go to github.com/force.com/tryacv feedback, you can send any suggestions, general feedback, or bugs that you may encounter, or changes to the UI, whatever you find in Anypoint Code Builder. You can create a ticket there, and the product team will be looking into that. So I encourage you to go and just put there any findings that you have. That's it.
No, that's great. All right, so I'm gonna launch the IDE. So it seems like guys, it's ready. And let's see how long it takes. Yeah, I was watching the Ravi's Twitch last time, and I saw he was running to the same path, just launching the IDE, and he took some time there. So it's like I don't know exactly what it takes. I'm kind of curious about how the actual VS Code plugin in our local environment will look like and how it will perform. Plus many other questions that I have from the other Twitch that you have done with Akshada. So it's like there's many things that we are gonna need at some point from the IDE just to make it more user friendly. But we start from raw and then we shape it, right? So let's see.
Yeah, and I heard today that they're going to be doing monthly updates. So that's great. I think we're going to be hosting the updates on the live streams so everyone can see what are the new updates, what are the new features, and what's new overall in Anypoint Code Builder, so we can all like start seeing how it's advancing.
That is nice. Yeah, probably more releases, more features in a shorter time, right? So basically that.
And I also heard that they're gonna have like a big announcement at TDX. I don't even know what it is. So that's exciting. Will you be there?
No, I'm gonna miss it this year. But hopefully by the next Reinforce, or I know it's gonna be a New York event, May, so I'll be there.
Nice.
All right. There you go. So we have Code Builder. It's a little bit slow. I don't know why, but okay. Let's try to follow then these steps. So it says we should develop a new integration here. So that's what I want to do. Basically, let's click on develop a new integration, and it's going to ask me for the name, I guess. Close this. Okay, so let's call it I don't know, library probably. Oh, but convention, right? Library, and I don't know if this makes sense a lot for a lot of people, right? Like, what is the default? So you should go just to the default path, unless we have our own server, maybe, right? So I don't know. This is one thing, but it's gonna be created in home. I'll say trust. All right, so this is nice. So then we have the actual project already set up here. So it's pretty basic. And what it says, we should create a flow, right? Which is basically the, well, the configuration actually, not the flow, but the actual configuration for the HTTP. So what we are gonna do here is basically exposing an endpoint, right? So I'm gonna just grab this. I'm gonna open this main configuration file, and we can start, adding stuff in here. But before that, what I would like to do also is just create a new file. But you know what? I have a question here, because sometimes I add the file and I include the .xml, but it doesn't have anything on the from the actual XML template that we do when we create a new configuration file, right? So I'm wondering if I do, for example, file or a new file, usually like that, or if I do right, sorry, I don't know exactly. Maybe you know, Alex. I'm not sure, but what I mean is, like, if I do this, like if I add a new global.xml, for example, it's just empty, right? And usually what I done is just I'll copy everything from here and I'll paste it, right? So that's it. The global configuration file, I'm carrying this just because I get used to the kind of have separated all the configurations in the global and just anything on the flow, right? So we can do that. So I'm gonna copy this configuration of the listener, and I'm gonna put it in here. So basically, we are saying we have an HTTP listener is listening on HTTP. Actually, we can say here, if I do control bar, it shows you all the other options that we have. Not all of them, maybe, but I see this is useful. So by default, we grab HTTP, or we can do HTTPS and then configure the TLS, for example, right? Yeah, and it's exposed just fine. And we can, if we want to get a little fancy at some point, we can just configure everything on the properties file. But let's do just the one on the tutorial. So, all right, so we created the flow, we created the configuration, sorry, and then we're gonna add the actual flow and the listener, right? So as far I'm starting adding that information here, is going to start drawing the components on the canvas. So if I do flow, you see there, we have the flow created, and it has an error handler in the listener here. So if I change the name of the listener, we can say, listener, I can put, like, for example, HTTP request, and it will change, right? So is that. And the doc ID is just generated randomly, so it gets different convention than the regular mu ones, right? And the path is set to be the main root path. It's pointing to our listener config. So there you go. So we have now a listener, which is fine. And now it comes the other part, which is importing the actual DataWeave library, right? So it says import assets from Exchange. All right. So let's do that. So in order to open the command palette, what I do is Shift Command P. That's how we do it also in our local VS Code. and I'm gonna do MuleSoft, and we do import asset from Exchange. There you go. And here it comes the options: REST API, DataWeave Library, GraphQL, and a connector. This is nice. I would like to try the connector at some point because, for example, JSON Logger, it's an imported connector custom, so we can just see how it works too. All right, so let's do the DataWeave Library. I'll do the allow. Yeah, we see open. Okay, since we can close this guy. And we need to pass the name, which, yeah, there you go. So it's the DataWeave mock data generators library. So let me just copy this and we can paste it. Okay, once you search, and I assume it's just like you can just put like a portion, not all the name maybe. So it will try to give you some matches. So yeah, there you go. So I'm gonna select this 1.0. And okay, here on the bottom right, it says like a project index and dependency successfully added. So we have at least some notifications too about what happened. All right, so it says it's imported. It will be nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm not speaking by myself. It'll be nice to know which dependencies are imported, and just like we see in Mule, right? Like in Anypoint, Studio. If we have some jar or some dependencies, just list it so we'll know, right? But all right, so we selected the version 1, and there you go. So now how we use the DataWeave library. So it says that after the HTTP listener, we should add a new set payload processor. So it should be this empty one, for example, right? So I'm gonna copy this. And this is one of the things that I was not complaining about, but it's like it's interesting, right? Like it seems like a code builder is more for technical folks or that are more used to use like XML per se, instead of the drag and drop, which I mean, I feel like a drag and drop make us a little bit lazier. Also, like we know it's there, we shouldn't type anything. But anyway, it's also interesting because you now have to take care or think about the properties or attributes that you need to set up. So it's more like you're more aware, right? Like okay, this property should be there, it should, right?
Well, this is just a beta version. The drag and drop will come later. It's just the first version that they have.
Mm-hmm. That's what it is. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's nice, right? In the end, it's not like it should be drag and drop, but because it has to be more user friendly or easier for other, let's say, just new developers. Yeah, makes sense too.
Yeah, I think they did it this way because they received a lot of feedback saying that in Studio you cannot have the graphical and the XML at the same time, and a lot of people wanted to see that. So that's why they decided to do this like this. But the drag and drop will come eventually. This is just the beta version for now. But yeah, it will come.
Yeah. Issue. Yeah. All right. So we have the set payload, and then we have to add the DataWeave. And something interesting about the DataWeave here, it's it's here in the documentation says just we can copy this snippet, right? And then we should place that inside of the set payload. I'm wondering if setting the payload on a transform message could be, it's pretty much the same, I'll say, but yeah, we can try that, because in the end it's either in set payload, something like this. I did this way, so like I just copy and paste it. Basically is like you should put everything in one line, right? Based on the actual snippet here, and it looks cleaner either way. So, but basically what it's doing here is we are telling that our payload is going to be on the JSON format output. We're importing from our library, because the library contains mocks and it has this function, data generators. Yeah, and here we have this operation called random city. So basically, it's gonna give you a string output here. So yeah, there you go. So we have the actual payload now, and now we can deploy the application, which is great. So then it's everything in here, right? Like the only thing that we did is import the DataWeave library, and we are calling one of the functions, basically, or operations, and it can be anything. We can, based on the use case, we should have certain libraries that receive certain parameters and maybe do some kind of calculation or something like that. I'm thinking something about, like, for example, though interesting, a function that where you pass certain origin and a point of origin and destination, and it gives you the points in the middle, probably for the map. I don't know, like a Google Maps geolocation or something like that. So it's calculated or something like that. All right, so let's try to deploy it then. So it says here we should just do the meals of deploy to Cloud Hub, which is fine. So we have the parameters. So I want to do that. So I say MuleSoft deploy to Cloud Hub. And then we get this error that says create a deployment configuration file. So we can create one of them. And there you go. So the name of the application is going to be DW Library. Yeah, so basically it is the deployment operations. Yeah, that is fine. So we have some defaults, that which is nice. So now we can retry and do the deploy to Cloud Hub. I'll deploy it in Sandbox. And the output is nice because you can see something similar as Anypoint Studio, where the actual Maven build is happening. So here's a catch. So because seems like we are on kind of a share, well, it happens same in Cloud Hub, I guess. So if there's an application that already exists with the same name, it's not going to let you deploy it. So there's already one DW library, maybe. So let me try to change this then, and I'll put it like Moran. Let's just save it. Let me try one more time. We can just clear this. There you go. So now it got successfully deployed, meaning that if I go into Runtime Manager, and check my sandbox, there you go. So we see our library, our application is getting deployed. So this is kind of straightforward, right? So anyways, it's not like too terrible. I think the good thing about this approach is like it's almost the same as do the right click deploy to Cloud Hub. You pass the properties, but the nice thing about it is like you already have some of them here, and you just do next until it gets deployed. So that is nice. Some of the things that I'm wondering eventually is how on the online version of the code builder, I don't think it's gonna or can happen, right? Like you can modify the build just to say, okay, deploy to certain environment, because in the end, everything is happening kind of manually, right? You say deploy to Cloud Hub, you select which environment. It's not like I just click on deploy and you don't have like this setup for a specific environment. It would be nice to see some kind of DevOps things behind, right? Like you commit kind of a message, or you commit your project and the build happens automatically, something like that. That'll be nice. I don't know. But let's see. All right, so it seems it's deployed. So I'm gonna just refresh this. And yeah, there you go. Yeah, and then we just call the actual endpoint, which basically we grab it from here. There you go. Right. Oh, okay. No, HTTPS. There you go. So it's working. So if I do it again, it changes. So that is nice. So I like it. So it means it's working, and it's pretty straightforward. So I don't know, Alex, but by your knowledge, do you know that this is a library that is exposed in Exchange, right? Do you know if there's any other that we can grab, like for example, that already exists, or are the only ones that are in Exchange? Let's say just public, for example.
Yeah, you can just go to Exchange and search for in the any type filter, just put like DataWeave libraries. Yeah.
I see. So this is the one that I mentioned, right? So this is nice because I'm not going to import it because I don't have any information to actually generate a token. But this is nice because, yeah, as the example says, you can use it for authenticating with Google APIs, and I think it removes a lot of the. I used to do GWT using Java, right? So we have to create in a small Java snippet, pass all these parameters, and then kind of calculate the whole thing, and then generate your access token. So what is nice here is you have the function already, which you are just passing certain data. For example, here, this is more like a regular approach. So you pass the key, you pass all this information, and then you get the actual token to generate your access token, right? So that is nice. All right, so I don't have that information to use it here, but is anything that you want me to try then, or should I just go ahead and try something by myself?
Yeah, go ahead and try whatever you want in ACV.
All right, let's try to break it. Let me see. All right, so because okay, because we already have this from the actual library, what I'm gonna do is pretty simple, right? Let's just create a from Salesforce. What I'm gonna do is let's just create with a connector a record in Salesforce, and then the name of the account is just basically this guy, right? And we should see it in Salesforce too. So going back, because I don't have nothing to copy and paste in this case for the Salesforce thing, let's try to do it by ourselves. So I'm gonna start writing here the Salesforce configuration. Let me see if I can see it. Okay. Okay, we create Salesforce config. Salesforce config. And I assume it's gonna be the same as the yes. All right, so I'm gonna try to check the configuration parameters. Okay. So the name is fine, and then what we can do here is, yeah, we can select from the different types of connections. So in this case, we can do basic connect, which basically is gonna ask us for username, password, but then the token, security token is required. So there you go. And let me just grab some of the trial accounts that I have. Yeah, let's try this one. I don't know if it's still active.
You can use your own Chrome extension to see how many days you have left.
Oh yeah, well, that will work here. Let me see. Oh, there you go. So, because it's new, you see. Um,
Nice.
but nothing else. So I'm actually just I want to kind of doing something else with that extension. I mean, it's nice, but I feel like needs more something else, right? I don't know exactly um, what people is looking for. I think that secondly, what I found is sometimes when you want to logged in from a domain single sign-on, it's ask you for the business group or something like that. So that'll be probably another parameter that we should use. But let's see. That will be for another topic. All right. So security token.
I mean, you can also talk about it here. It's your time. That's fine.
I'll do some propaganda then. There you go. So this is nice. We have the test connection, so we can check if the credentials we provided are valid. So it's taking some time here. And this is an old instance, so I'm not sure if it's gonna work. Visual. So, and also what I did is this Salesforce instance is one of the pre-built you see expired. Okay, just give me a second and let me just refresh the token here. Okay, just one. It's gonna take me just 1 second. Analytics. And I'm gonna put I'm gonna put here 2023, and I need a token which I'm gonna grab from here. Okay, so now let's try one more time this connection. And there you go. So connection is valid. This is nice. So let's move on. And what I'm gonna do here is let's move to the main flow. So let's say we already have in the set payload, right? So our payload already contains these values. So what I'm gonna do is just basically do a create. Let me see. Let's create. All right. So this is nice. The config ref. It should be to. It should point to our Salesforce config, right? So I'll just put it in here. Type, I'm gonna create an account, for example. And I'm pretty sure here we have, it's not there. What is the payload thing? Let me see. Inside. Yeah, there you go. Records. I do records. As we see, it generates the C data, just like we can just use DataWeave or just pass the value. So in here is gonna be like this, right? But what I think it should happen is before the actual before this, because we want to actually send the record, but the payload needs to be an array. So I need to do a transform message, right? So if I do here no inside this guy, sorry. So it should be outside. So if I do a transform without putting JSON, that's fine. I can change the JSON for Java, and basically it gives you kind of this the out of the box template, right? With the information here. So what I can do is just remove this, and I'll have it just like this, right? And I can say probably name, and we can pass just here the payload. And I have it on the curly braces because it's an array. There's some brackets here. So yeah, there you go. So it should work like this, I guess. And after we have the transform message, it's gonna pass that to as records, and we should after this log what happens, right? So let's just do a logger, and in the message, in message we should do payload. Right. So something that I found this is really helpful. That was the debugger thing, right? So we can try actually from here and see how the actual endpoint works. Something that I found is we don't need to deploy the application straight to CloudHub in order to test this out. So we can just debug the application locally, and we can put like for example I don't know, let's say just here a breakpoint here, and I can see the values. I saw Akshata doing that. So then we can validate the data is coming okay, and then just move on to the next operation. So what I'm gonna do is once we are here, we have this running the bug, and I think we just click on this play icon. So something nice is like it generates an internal server with the nrock, I guess, and then it creates a proxy so you can actually call the endpoint, right? And it tells you which is the URL. That is nice. So let's see here.
And I think Simone mentioned that it's the same button for debugging and for running. So if you like started running it and you want to now debug, you don't have to stop and start it again as you do in Studio.
The breakpoint?
Yeah, you can just put the breakpoint and then just continue running, or you can just remove the breakpoint and it will go out from debug to normal running mode and so on.
That is nice. Yeah, because all the time, right? Like you are on Anypoint Studio and you click on you have to click debug, then it fails, and you have to redeploy. So it's kind of annoying. It takes a lot of time. So, all right. So it got deployed. So I can actually go into the browser. It's going to it called the endpoint, so it stopped here already. So it's in yellow, kind of in yellow. And something that I saw is we have this, the mule event, which basically contains all the methods, and you can see the payload here. So that is nice. And in the parameters, we can see also other things here. But this is what is going to happen. It seems like it's going one step ahead. So what is going to be resolving into the Salesforce connector, for example. But in the meantime, for the connector, we can see is that there's one record in the 0 position, and this is the value that it gave us. But it's because, it was Clever. Okay, let's try that. So if I do the next, which is this button here, and I do next again, it seems like it's doing something here, or you already did. Oh, there you go. So actually, it already gave us the result, but just because it's this bulk operation result, right? So let me check. But you see, it gave us different. No, this is the CloudHub one. Sorry about that. Yeah, no, this is the CloudHub one. I got the 504, maybe because the response. I don't know. Let me see if let me change this first. What's this guy? So because I want to see the actual payload in JSON. Yeah, I can put another transform message here. So I can do just like transform with output JSON, and I can just set here payload as a JSON, right? And just printing what is here. And they print as a JSON anyway. So I will see the response. So let's try that. So I'm gonna put stop. I will remove this. And I click on play. Okay. Let me close this too. And it's nice. It doesn't take too long as sometimes Anypoint Studio too, right? It's a little lighter.
Yep.
All right, so let's open this on the browser. And let's see if it prints something here. It restarted. These are like it kind of got restarted, right? Okay, let me try one more time. Open in browser. There you go. So now it works. So you see, we get the actual ID, Salesforce ID. It was created. So the easiest way that I have to check this is actually going back in Salesforce. And what I do is just replacing this with the ID. And you put this name. So something that I'm curious is it was giving us short names too, right at the beginning. I don't know if it was now giving us full names or something like that. But anyway, so this is nice. So as we see here, what I did. One sec.
Oh, that happens to me too. It's so annoying.
I know. It's like you just it gives you the back in the
Yeah,
browser. Oh my gosh. It will save the changes that you made? Yes, right?
I hope so. I don't know.
It should, right? Imagine that you made some tough transformation and then you just erase it. Okay, so yeah, we see the flow, we see the listener, payload, transform, and it's nice that it's actually sending you where the transformation is, DataWeave and log. Okay, so this is nice. It'll be nice at some point, like some right click and see if there's any property attribute that you are missing or something like that. But this is working, so I like that it's working. So at least the create is fine. As far as your understanding, is anything that is not possible that we have at any point? I mean, in terms of components or connectors, like I'm thinking of until success, errors, scatter gather, something like that. Is there any of those that you think is not working on Code Builder?
It shouldn't, because it's still using the same engine. I don't
Right.
think it should not work. I think it's just that, like, the changes are just in the UI, but if you copy and paste an XML, it should work, I think.
Yeah. Right. Let me try something here. Um, so let me try this. Yeah. So let me try to do just pretty simple query after this. So we print the results and just straight. What I'm gonna do is just print a set of records. Salesforce config. Okay, so it's a query. And it should print. Okay, so let me try this. Just this an error. Okay, so warning, and then is no global element declare. Um, so it's case sensitive too. So it has to match. All right. So let's do another play. And in this case, he should just print whatever cases are in the Salesforce instance. So we have at least two. I create a query, so that is nice. Is anything that you have in mind, Alex, that we should just try? You want me to try maybe?
I think you can just keep trying Salesforce because no one has done that many things in Salesforce before with ACB.
All right. All right. Let me think on another sample in the meantime.
How do you feel about batch processing?
We can try that. It's like yeah, let's try that. I like it. Just need to refresh my mind, which actually I'm gonna use one of the recipes that I have. So let's see if that works too.
Awesome.
Let me see the bulk console. Wait a second. I don't know if it worked or not. Sorry, let me just stop it. And I lost the output. There you go. So this is the output. Sorry. Okay, let's see. And in the meantime, let me search for that bulk API sample. Salesforce. That works. Thanks, Alex, for sharing that. That is great. All right, let's see. So let's open in browser, and if everything goes well, we should see the response here in JSON. But for some reason, I don't know why it happens like this. Let me try one more time. I assume it's like an issue here, right? Like it says is already running, so it means like probably didn't. Oh, actually did. Okay, that's good. That was confusing, but it's fine. So it pulled 1,600 records. This is nice. Okay, so query, that's fine. All right, so what I want to try now, and let's see if we have some time. I'm gonna use one of the recipes, right? So I'm gonna just use this guy here. So let me pull this. So this is a sample for how to make bulk v1 query. So bulk API version 1 query. But I like this sample because, as you see, first of all, it has a scheduler. Secondly, it has the batch processing, right? So we create a job, we create a batch for a query. So we're going to pass a query string here, and then it's going to check how many batches are available. So, but it's going to check, and this is another nice thing, the until success component. So we can check based on the status of the batch info if what is the status of the batch. If it's completed, it will move on forward, and then it will pull the results as a CSV file, right? And just because this is an analytics instance, Salesforce instance, it'll bring some data, so we can actually take advantage of that. So we can use probably there's one big object, and I was testing today some of the book job queries, how many records we can pull from Salesforce, right? So we are struggling sometime on how many records I want to pull. 10,000, and it seems too much sometimes. How many more, like a 50,000? And then today I tested it, and I was able to pull 100,000 in a few minutes. So that's a good sample. So let's try that pretty quick. And just because it's already here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the actual code. In theory, it will be the same. So let me just try. Yeah, let's just create another configuration file. So I'm gonna just grab the global, these guys from here, and I'm gonna create a new file pretty quick. So let's call it Bulk API. Rename Bulk API.xml. I'm gonna paste this, and I'm going to Neil. Okay, so we have that. I'm going to just copy the whole thing here, the flow I have, and I'm gonna paste the content here. Let's see if it draws. Oh, there you go. So actually, we have the scheduler, we have a transfer message. But let me see, where is the check job status? Okay, it's a flow ref. Something interesting here is like, I don't see this subflow. Okay, so let me then, what happens if I remove the subflow? Okay, so you know what? Instead of subflow, we can make it a flow, right? See if it appears. I'm curious about this because it'll work. I mean, like, I don't see those flows, right? Okay, let's try that. So here it's showing a couple errors here, but it's because the name. So Salesforce config, you can change this. What else? Okay. And you saw that it's still like it was still running or something. So another Salesforce config, and Salesforce config. Okay. Or I put it differently. Sure. Do you see any of those errors?
No.
It's like it got stuck, right? At some point. Never used Salesforce. Yeah, it's there. All right, so I have to probably, let me see. So we can go back here. Okay, let's just create the first flow. I'm gonna just try to build the first part of it. I'll refresh it. I don't know if something like that. Got stuck here. Okay, so okay, let me just go back. So we have here the first component, which is just creating the job, Salesforce create job. I'm gonna just try to make that first part work. So if I remove this, okay, no more problems. That is fine. Salesforce config. Let me just copy this. So we are on the, we're doing the query. We set the variable. Okay. We did the query. Wait a second. Create job variable. Okay, create batch for query. So this is the second one. So it should be like this. Okay. So here what I'm doing is just creating the batch for query. This is gonna match with this one. Okay, no errors. And something important, just we are doing this. It's important to say like chunk size or enabling chunks, because this allows you to pull more records when they are it's kind of sorted, but it allows the batch to know and divide how it's gonna create the actual response. So it allows you to bring more data. So it makes chunks of 50,000 here. Okay. So now we can do this batch list. And this is what I'm curious. So if I do the other flow before the actual flow ref, so a subflow, this subflow basically is to verify the job status, right? And you see now it draw more things here. So this is kind of a subflow, and it has the until success, and it has a try. All right, for some reason it didn't catch when I copy and pasted, so we have to do it manually here, but that's fine. This changing the names, and no problems. All right, so that is good. So flow is there. We can create the flow to close the job just now, and we should just do one more reference and we'll be fine. So flow and another flow, close job. What is it? I don't see it. Okay, let me try this. No, that is strange. Anyway, I think we're almost on time, right, Alex? But anyway, it's this is fun. I mean, this is great because in the end, from the actual copy and paste, we found like not always is gonna draw the whole thing at once. We should go not component by component, but maybe flow by flow. And so flows, they have something there in so flows. But in the end, if we finish this, I would like to finish this anyway later on, and I will try to make it work. So if that works, it's great, because in the end, we should be able to make a query where I'm exporting a file with 100,000 records, for example. So you get an extract using Bulk API version 1. So yeah, it's fun.
All right. I would love to see that code so I can also try it myself and see how it works.
Nice. Yeah, I will post it once I have it. But definitely, it's been fun. And but I mean, for me, as the first approach using it, it's not too terrible, honestly. So maybe because I'm copy and pasting right from something that is already built, it'll be more challenging if I don't know exactly which attributes. I mean, I know how to do it at drag and drop, but I don't know how to place it inside the XML. That's
Mhm.
probably a challenge. But because we have the kind of AdSense, I mean, like these pre-commands with the control bar that might show you some attributes or components that you can place inside. That'll be nice. Yeah, this is great.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Edgar. This was very insightful. I think like even if we continue doing the same like tutorial over and over again, each person discovers their own thing and then they start trying different things. So at the end of the
Yeah,
day, we still see more insights when more people try it.
definitely. Yeah, it's fun. I mean, and it's just feedback that it makes better the product. So I like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Alex, for the time and the space too.
Yeah, no worries. And just a reminder, go to github.com/force.com/tryacbfeedback. And there you can just create tickets with any kind of suggestions, comments, or just general feedback that you may have, including like bugs or something that you have a question of how it works or something like that. And the product team will be checking that all the time. So they will reply to you. And also remember to follow us on twitch.tv/MuleSoft_community. We already passed 500 followers, so thank you for that. There you can see all of our previous recordings, all of our schedule, and you can receive notifications as soon as we're live so you never miss us. And that's it. Thank you so much, Edgar.
Thank you, Alex, and everyone for joining. All right, it was
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, definitely. All right.
All right.
See you then on Thursday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Bye.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.